Sometimes you might feel like the hours are too long. Talk to your union rep. You might feel like your leadership is... Good morning. Well, this is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. I am your host. My name is Jared. If you must communicate with me outside of this daily live podcast that runs from 8 a.m. Eastern to 9:30 a.m. Eastern, don't. And also here is how you can do that. Every show starts the same way. We have a song that we run out and say, hey, unlike other shows you've listened to where the host sits behind a banner and I don't know what the fuck they're actually doing back there. Okay? Soulstick War by Edwin Starr. I like to listen to it sometimes when I start the show, for example. I'd much rather talk to you. That's why we have a show. Morning, Bob. Morning, Debs. CC. And here is Al Gore, of all people. Here's Al Gore, basically saying like this is what the Constitution was meant to do, was flex on people like Donald Trump. Okay. I posted the link in the chat. It's not really something we're arguing. And I'm just gonna come out and say it. You know how fucking cruel you have to be to separate families? Period. Full stop. Fuck, like, Israel, Russia, fucking in the US. Like, what is this obsession with destroying families? We do good enough job of that on our own. It's like everywhere I look, oh, Israel, the IDF is destroying families in Gaza, free Palestine. Obviously, what happened in the last 24 hours in Kiev, in Ukraine, is fucking awful. Slava Ukraine. And here in the United States, one of the things that I don't have kids, but when I see someone get arrested and it's like a mom or a dad or a man or a woman, like whatever, I'm like, oh, I hope they're not a parent and they have to like go get their kid. Oh, hey, mom got picked up by ICE. I guess you're just gonna fuck you then. Stand at the front door until somebody comes and unlocks it. Can you imagine being like a young kid waiting on your parent to like I don't know how it goes anymore because again I don't have children, but like when I was a little kid I like walked home from like a half mile. Imagine like walking home from school and no one's there, right? And I imagine kids nowadays have cell phones, so for a lot of kids, it's just another fucking screen that I gotta look at. And so you get to some point in your day, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I have a cell phone. Let me pull that bitch out." Oh, my mom's been arrested for protesting pro-Palestine, and it just so happens she's an educator and was deemed dangerous. And you're sitting there wondering, like, is this the truth? So you're making that shit up? That's literally where I am at this point, where I'm like Kilmar Abrego, I said Albrego, like he's fucking pasta. Garcia, like he was like a good dad and a steel worker. This isn't like a bum. You know what I mean? Like this is somebody doing some heavy work for the US, a union member and like an active parent and spouse. This and again people are like, why? And it's like it's one thing, first of all, if you're deporting people legally. That's a thing. With like paperwork and shit. What is happening in the United States at the hand of the US government is not deportation. Deportation's a legal process. You get like served paperwork, you show up to court with your documents and you either get to stay or not. Okay? That's what a deportation looks like. It's not like it's very frustrating as someone whose entire family is in law enforcement, who a lot of the people I care about are in were are veterans and military, and like just to watch people be cruel over and over and over again. I don't know what the fuck the wrong is for, but suck a dick. Um, I just don't understand. Like, cruelty is the point. I get it. If cruelty is the point, I get it. And I noticed what's being suppressed because I don't watch. Like today will be the first time that I have cable in like 6 months. Like I'll get YouTube TV back today to watch the draft. Angie asked from YouTube, Garcia's lawyers and the government lawyers decided to put stuff on hold for 1 week. Parnas was saying he thinks they will bring him home. Otherwise, why would Garcia's lawyer agree? Yeah. Uh-huh. One of the things you have not seen is a picture of Kilmar Abrego Garcia with his hands out like this, so you could just see his fucking knuckles. Because I'll bet you every dime I have that he does not have an MS-13 tattoo on his knuckles. He's not, the head of a union doesn't get on national television saying, bring our fucking guy home if he's got an MS-13 tattoo on his fucking knuckles. That guy also has a career that he's got to think about. I'm willing to bet you he was. I'm willing to bet you he was thinking long and hard about his fucking career when he went on national television and said, bring our guy home. Okay. Oh, and there are others, Kilmar Abrego Garcia just might survive all this. I do want to point out the last thing that we know is that they did take him out of CCOT. So he's elsewhere. In El Salvador, in a prison somewhere, I'm guessing. Okay. But I want to keep saying it because it's not being said. It's not being reported in the news. And I think it's like the most grandiose part of all of this. There are a couple hundred, less than 300, let's say that. Less than 300 Venezuelan exiles. Let's call them what they were. They were exiled from the United States. They were kidnapped. They were fucking trafficked to an El Salvador prison, El Salvadorian prison. Okay? It's like the starting of a. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking before I dig myself a hole. Um, it reminds me of a video game. Anyway, so Uncharted. So there's like a couple hundred guys that we basically banished and sent them to El Salvador. Less than 300 people. And those people, El Salvador reached out to Argentina, and they're trying to use them as a bargaining tool for political prisoners. So I know it's all a lot, but I want to focus on things that I think are like a fucking ton. Like, that's a big fucking deal. The United States exiled like 257 people. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is one of them. The makeup artist is another. Merwin Gutierrez is another. Right? Like, we're starting to know these people's names. I'm one of those people. I actually look up their fucking names and shit. Okay? They were exiled to a foreign country, and now they're being used as a pawn in trade for political prisoners from Argentina. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure every day until I see a news story where somebody's talking about it, I'm gonna say it. It's not fucking deportation. Deportation's a legal process. You could videotape your deportation and play sad music to it, right? Like, your deportation's like, you get served, you have a date and time that you have to show up and a list of things that you got to do. You probably want to get a lawyer. You need help, right? You're being fucking deported. And then you show up and you got to stand in front of a judge that, yeah, I agree to tell the truth. Like, you're, blah, 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 you were here for education, yeah, education visa. Yeah, I just want to renew that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to be deported, right? Do you understand? Like, that sounds like a process. That sounds like due process. And for the record, Barack Obama deported like over 3 million people. They all got due process. It can totally be done, except when you fire everybody. So Don's got a problem on his hands that he wants to set records for deportation, but he lacks the infrastructure. And I know, but people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, here's that ugly fucking word, infrastructure." That infrastructure also includes plotting and planning. And oh, by the way, the only plotting and planning going on in this administration is coming from Putin through Musk to Donald J. Trump. And here we have it. How long did we make it? 13 minutes before someone bothered to blame Joe Biden for it. So I just want to point out that mm, 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 mm. I just don't understand. Who's a conspiracy theorist? There's this subreddit called r suppressed news. Yeah. Yeah, it was like, you know the difference between Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump? And this is going to tilt the fuck out of you. Are you ready for this? Joe Biden, and I said this many times during his presidency, and so if like you didn't see me say it, fuck you. Joe Biden's presidency was fucking rad. Like, he did really fucking good. I know that sucks to hear white cis male say, but like, holy shit, Joe Biden was like a legit fucking presidente. You know what I mean? Like, he made some fucking moves that I was like, whoo hoo hoo, he's having a good run. Yeah, he really did. Like, y'all be slobbing on fucking Donald J. Trump's knob, and he's fucking killing all of us. I'm just saying. Did you know that Joe Biden's 4 years in office got the least service members killed? Did you know that? Did you know that? That's just like that's just like one statistic. Like, without completely destroying our relationships with our allies and cuddling up to our fucking enemies and shit. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Joe Biden, of all the presidents, got the least active duty service members killed. Hell yeah. Way to go, Joe. Okay? I know that doesn't tickle the fun part of your brain. Where'd all the money go? To the billionaires. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you rig an election. Yeah. Welcome to oligarchy. And I saw a video this morning of a pro-Palestinian activists at the University of Michigan getting their door busted in by the FBI. And I thought, what an abuse of power. Oh, went to Ukraine to launder the money. I just, it's like we're stuck in the dumbest timeline. It's like idiocracy, but real life. You know, it's the lead in the drinking water. I watched this I watched this news report about, you could plant trees and you can grow a garden and solar panels and all this shit, but the problem is half of all of the people in the United States drink drinking water with lead in it. So I know why you're stupid. You may not have figured it out yet. Okay? I filter my water. You see what happens when the filter gets full. It weighs a ton. Not a ton. That's an exaggeration. But also, yeah, there's a reason that I don't make a lot of content, talking negatively to Trumpers. You're a victim. You've. It's like you're a paint eater, right? People always made fun of Marines and said we were crown eaters. So I think it's hilarious if I say, well, they were eating lead paint. Okay. Someone said they're taking out the fluoride in Florida now. Yeah. So there goes your teeth in Florida. Literally would not let my kids go to college in Florida. Now that ICE is going to use Florida as a testing ground at all the public universities, I wouldn't let my kids be caught dead in Florida University. That's for sure. They're going to take the Florida out of the fluoride out of the drinking water. Yeah, but there's a reason I haven't spent a lot of time shitting on Trumpers. It's because you're a victim of Chinese and Russian disinformation. Mhm. I studied this phenomenon 20 years ago on active duty. Hmm. Yeah, you might not believe this, but grunts get college degrees too. I had a staff sergeant that was my platoon commander that was already fulfilling an officer's billet in the infantry, and he was like, "Fuck it, why not just get a 4-year degree and become an officer?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, bro!" And so he went to school, and we were friends. So when I would go hang out with him, he'd be like working on shit. Yeah. And I go hang out with him, and he'd be writing a paper, and I would teach him how to do the research. I'd teach him how to use Purdue OWL, how to format his shit and get good fucking grades. What up, Hugo? But yeah, we talked about this like 20 fucking years ago. Hmm? White supremacy, white Christian nationalism, those are the biggest dangers to Americans. Well, we're a melting pot here in the United States, Helen, and as you can imagine, there are people that go to like public schools and get a public education that turn out just fine. And then there's probably everyone else's story, which probably involves a private school, a charter school, private Christian school, homeschool. You think about that, all those other ways those kids could have got through that same amount of time. But I'm a public school kid. Hey chat, hey everyone. Shocked by now you don't get Trump trolls on comments. No. The one thing that I've known about Trumpers is they're all cowards. Hmm. I've been saying it forever. I have been on the internet, God, before Facebook, bro. I catch one iota of shit. Not even close. Not even close to the volume of shit that I have put out versus what I've gotten back. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Cowards, all of you. Mm-hmm. They see the Marine Corps and they know. They know. Because I'll tell you, I'm 6'4", 300 pounds. I could still touch the rim on a basketball goal. And I was in the Marine Corps infantry. Trust me, it don't matter how long I was in the military. It has absolutely no bearing on the fact that I'm a natural athlete and you are not. And you are not this size. And so what the fuck are you going to do? What are you really going to do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're not even going to say anything. They're not going to say anything ever. You're going to sit right where the fuck you are, do your little bullshit job. You're going to wake up tomorrow, just like LeBron James said, regardless how you feel about me, you got to wake up tomorrow and be the same you. I'm still good. I'm very good. On with the show. Let's see. Like I said, I think we've got what is the biggest story. Oh, and also Donald Trump's been saying this shit for a while and it's kind of getting to me. Where I'm just like, what? How? I didn't say that. I didn't say anything. Again, we'll be back in a few minutes on TikTok. This is our safe place, the David Tribeca Mushroom. We had someone infiltrate our Discord. I posted the link in the YouTube chat, and yeah, I didn't even say anything. I said they're all pussies. They're not gonna do anything. They're gonna sit in their chair. How the fuck is that not even bannable? They also complained of sexual-based violence. Where did I use sexual-based violence or language? I didn't do that. See? They banned me from TikTok. Oh. See? It's gonna be like just long enough to cover the show, right? It's all they've got going on in their lives. They don't have anything else. Mm-hmm. Well, it's good that you were only 2 for 3. The only thing that bothers me about having ever voted for Donald Trump is that he asked for the help of Russia on the debate stage in 2016. And I got buddies, in fact, I got cousins on active duty in the Marine Corps infantry, and they put bounties on U.S. soldiers. The Kremlin pays up to like $250,000 per mission in Afghanistan to kill Americans. And that wasn't a deal breaker for you. Central Park 5, the President of the United States also took out ads in 4 newspapers, spent $250,000 in the, what is that, late 70s, early 80s, to implicate 4 young black men for a murder they didn't commit. All 5 did time, an average of 7 years. One of them did 20 years for a crime they didn't commit. Not a deal breaker? 27 women? 27 women. And counting. An untold number of little boys. Not a deal breaker? I'm just asking questions. Those things didn't preclude you voting for him? It's an interesting time to be alive. But one of the things that Donald Trump is finding out is that the U.S. is no longer indispensable. And as I've said here, if you're gonna do anything, there's a couple subreddits, and again, the suppressed news subreddit, for the record, tells me everything I need to know. Here's Donald Trump. In my eyes, here's Donald Trump admitting what it is, and that we are the laughing stock of the world. Yep. You can't block people on YouTube, but you can hide from this channel. Um, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't actually know. One, I don't know how long he'll be in office, so that question I don't know the answer to. Okay. Um, Again, I'll just keep waking up every day and saying, I don't know how long he makes it. There, I said it. I'm gonna say it every day, Christina. He has outlived what he could possibly do. Okay. Okay. How long did you think he was gonna last? You I mean, he's had a bruise on the back of his right hand, concurrent. So month in and month out. Um, I it doesn't take much for me to be like, hey, uh, I don't know how much longer you got left when the blood is pooling in your right hand. I don't think I don't know that that normally happens. You know what I mean? I don't think you normally. By the way, I burnt the shit out of my hand so you could see what I did all on the backside because I had tried to cover my face. But look at this shit, yo. I just caught a spit of grease. Um, Take care of yourselves, y'all. I only showed it to you because it never fucking happens, right? Just long enough to get me banned. We didn't even get banned. It was sexual based violence. That's certainly not what I was doing. So, yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah. That's how I know I have PTSD. I was joking with my wife, but she was like, how long did you scream? And I said, well, I yelled when it originally happened. I was like, oh, holy shit. And then I stuck it um, in the water. I originally stuck it in soapy water because I was doing dishes, and I was like, that's probably not good. And I stuck it under the faucet. And I just kept sticking it under cold water. And now, I mean, no, it doesn't hurt at all. For the record, this does not hurt at all. Literally, like an open wound on my hand. Like, doesn't hurt. I'm good. Now, you brush something up against it. Holy shit. But, hey, we're just existing at this point. Um, but I got very lucky. And so it reminds me, when I was a kid of being um, obviously warned about fire and about the dangers of fire and how I don't know if I told you guys this, but my brother and my dad were like firebugs when I was a kid. We always had fires, bonfires in our backyard, always burning stuff, burning, but it doesn't matter. In fact, one of my stories from my childhood is we had a party at my house, at my graduation party. There was like almost 200 people that stayed the night. Okay. My mom made breakfast for all those people the next day. Okay. Yeah, we got banned for sexual based violence, where I clearly said sexual exploitation and gender based violence, which I definitely did not do. Non consensual sexual acts, image based sexual violence, extortion, physical abuse, and sexual harassment. I definitely was not doing those things. Definitely not that kind of guy. No, a guy was talking about like you wish you were tough or some shit, and I was like, no, I'm just a big guy. Like, just a big teddy bear. Come here, give me a hug. You know what I mean? I had a crazy thought. I had that 5 hour visit to Walter Reed. I learned. I looked up how long it takes to install a Neuralink. About 25 minutes. I know it's crazy, but when you have nothing to lose, I have absolutely zeroed out the fact that you even said that. It was an awful long visit to Walter Reed for a physical. Like, think about that. When I go to the VA annually for a physical, I have to show up an hour before my appointment to draw blood. Okay? So that means I'm getting there an hour and 15 before my appointment so that I can hopefully not sit very long to get draw blood. And then, because I got to walk to the other side of the hospital to go up to where my doctor's appointment is. And then I got to wait in that waiting room until a nurse calls me back and they do height, weight, blood pressure, all that shit before I ever see a doctor. And I'm still out half hour, 45 minutes after my appointment started. And so that's a 2 hour total. What the fuck took you 5 hours, Don? Um, it could be because something's wrong, right? That's a that's a thing. That could have taken 5 hours because he was like he also took cognitive tests, and he's not a big thinker. He wasn't a big smart guy anyway, right? So, oh, by the way, I know that it took years. I know that it took years, but here's the lawsuit from the federal government, where the federal government rules that the state of North Dakota. No, the judge rules the federal government owes nearly 28 million to North Dakota for pipeline protests. They policed the process. I want to make sure, is that real? How long did it take Zeke the other day when we got banned? We got banned for the same thing other day. I go back to a chat. When did that? 9:44. And I think we got banned at 9:20. Okay, so about 25 minutes. We'll be back live. We're going to keep doing what we're doing, right? I'm posting links in chat. We're talking about the news. think Elon really stepped down? Well, I mean, we just talked about him possibly installing a Neuralink on Donald Trump. So if that's the case, does it matter if he steps down or not? You went in a lot longer on TikTok the other day. I get excited like anybody else. I don't want to have to be put in a position to have to protect myself. You know what I mean? So you got to be kind of like, I'm a big guy. You don't really want to do that. Like it's not really in your favor. Oh, I like it. Somebody made a Star Wars themed poster for the protest. By the way, there's a protest today. Is today the 24th? Yeah. Hey, hey, there's a protest today. The Today are the Canadian Solidarity protests at your state capitals. 50 50.1. I did it wrong. I was one digit off. IB, no Jared. 50.1. Join us. Morning now. What was our time? When did we actually get banned? We were banned about 15 minutes ago. It took about 25 for us to get unbanned the other day. Obviously, we're in the middle of a General Mills boycott. So if you can handle that, try not eating at General Mills. Then there's 5050.1 is the website. I figure I should share that with y'all. Okay. And then I saw their partners, and I think we should, okay, go to their partners, right? No Voice Unheard, Build the Resistance, Voices of Florida, okay? Yeah, it's good to see everybody. Remember, you got to control what you can control. I slept a lot. I burnt my hand, and I know that the time frame for healing is best when you're just asleep. So in the last uh since like yesterday, I probably have slept like 11 plus hours. In the last little over 12 hours, I was asleep for most of that. hmm We want to make sure we say, again, as we said at the top of the show, Free Palestine, Slava Ukraine. Here are some additional sites that you can go to. I know a lot of people are looking for places to go, orgs to join. Okay. Okay. Here you go. Cool. I think that's cool. There's political revolution, build a resistance, voices of Florida. Okay. By the way, my tattoos are kanji, and they mean different from what I interpret them as or intended for them to mean. And that's because I'm smart enough to know that there's no literal direct translation between Japanese kanji and English. For example, one of them says take change or embrace change. The other one says take change, embrace change, and the other says take chances. No, these are not gang symbols. I just, I never thought that I would have had to say that out loud about my tattoos. But clearly, we're in a, I'm really not trying to have my little house broken into. I've thought about replacing the doors, but with the threat of them getting kicked in, it's like, why go ahead and do all that when the feds are just gonna come bust them down anyway? But yeah, I do have. That's kanji. Where's it? Up? Where? Up? That's Japanese kanji. Those aren't gang symbols. I just want to make sure we point that out because you know. Remember, if you got a Tesla dealership close to you, you have a protest every Saturday. Okay. You know what I've started to see that's my favorite part of a revolution? Graffiti. It's going really good. I saw they unveiled this 45, I don't know what you call that. It was like a dish trophy for Donald Trump, and it had just been unveiled, and somebody walked up and spray painted Green USA on that. Not a, yeah, and I'm not gang affiliated. Okay. No, 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 no. I had flashbacks there to seventh grade. When I was in seventh grade, we had a kid in the football program, David Saladino, and he told us that he was a gang member. And not only was he gonna beat us all up, but if we fucked him up too bad, he'd, you know, get his sick as gang on us. Um, he did not make it 1 week. He made, oh no, he made it 10 days, about 7 or 8 practices. And we tried really hard to help him graduate. You know, we want to make sure that even your local gang member gets a degree. I don't know that he did. So that's tough. And also, it is worth pointing out that this president did place a tariff on an island country with no people, just penguins. I don't know what's going on that island, but if that island has a fucking economy, we have a problem. Angela Tuafu. Tuafu. But yeah, got you a bunch of websites to go to today. I think what's the other indivisible.org? Is that what it's called? Yeah, indivisible.org. Okay. Angela, we got banned. I got threatened with physical violence, and I responded with, not only was I in the Marine Corps, but like I'm also like a big person. Like you don't want to do that. I'm a big guy, and we got banned. But it was for sexual based violence, and I absolutely was not telling another person I was about to fuck them. You know what I mean? So yeah, it feels silly and stupid and poorly planned. It's almost like there's a language barrier. Hear me out. I know everybody's like, no, it's the organized chaos of it all that screams Donald Trump. And it's like, no, it screams language barrier. Hear me out. Elon Musk's first language, not English. Neither is Vladimir Putin. And both of those people are telling Donald Trump what to do. The one guy, his first, Vladimir Putin, the guy at the very tippy tip top, he speaks like Russian, right? And 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 he tells Elon what to tell Donald what to do. And so I just think because the instructions are like written in English by a guy whose first language is Russian, that shit's going to, I don't know what Elon's first language is. French? Who gives a shit, right? And then it gets to Donald Trump, and by the time it gets there, it's just a pile of words, right? And Don is so used to, because he can't fucking read, Don's so used to looking at it as a pile of words and just being like, fuck it, I'm going off the cuff. Because this shit is just a pile of words. Like, what the fuck? And so if you wondered why every fucking day it feels like there's no plan, or maybe there is a plan, but it sucks, or maybe there's a plan and then like Donald Trump, like the president of the United States, for the longest time, I'm almost positive, was convinced that an insane asylum and someone declaring asylum were the same thing. I know in your brain hole that you're like, "Oh yeah, Don's dumb." Of course, right? So then why also aren't the instructions coming through kind of fucking weird, cuz the two guys above Don don't, English ain't their first language. That's all I'm saying. So if you wonder why he's getting fuck shit, it's cuz by the time he gets to him, not only can he not read, one, two, it's just a jumbled mass of fucking words, and he's just like, I'm just gonna wing it. Fuck it. If that doesn't feel like what's going on right now. So this feels like planned. The fucking crashing of the economy to the point where the billionaires are showing up to the fucking White House to talk to the president about these fucking tariffs. This looks coordinated and planned. This looks like a this looks like some fucked up instructions came down the pipe, and the guy pulling the trigger said, "Fuck it, I'm going ham. I'm just gonna do me." And also, here's this copy of Project 2025 that I've literally. You swear and dog on him. Yeah. See, Donald Trump's easy to do that to. 21 minutes ago. Oh, but that didn't happen. Yeah, that's not politics. Yeah, I agree. I can't remember which person I saw, but they said having these influencers go around and get made fun of by Republicans, and they're on the same like platform, is not politics. That's theater. It's the kids should have done um no, not acting. What is it called when you like get theater troupe, right? Yeah. Um it's direct action, right? I've been saying for a while now, your actions go digital first, right? It's easiest to change behavior that no one outside of your house would recognize, right? Like getting rid of Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, Amazon, only using that as a search engine to find what you were going to buy and then try to buy it locally or from the producer for probably less. Okay. Ah, Charlie Kirk, the king of the unfuckables. Or wait, is that oh, up, 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 up. Guess who's back? Back again. Jared's back. Tell a friend. We're back live on TikTok. But yeah. Just know it's not politics. I mean, shit. What Charlie Kirk's doing is not politics. Um, yeah. Tell all my friends that I'm live. But yeah, one of the things that you got to start doing, you got to go to this Reddit suppress news. I check it every day. And all it tells me is like, oh, this is what they're absolutely not showing on the news. Things that you might want to know seems kind of important. Look at this. Maybe put a cartoon filter. They gotta keep it PG. I was being PG. When there's a lot of people feeling inadequate in my comment section, they can just brigade. It only takes like 3 people. Yeah. Or maybe just not really pay attention to that. I try really hard not to. Most of the time, I just block them. Typically, the only time I actually talk to them is when nobody else is commenting, and I'm like struggling to get to the block button, where I'm like, can't get a block button fast enough. I have to retort. My brain is broke. Yeah, that's what happens. I could just not fucking respond to them at all. That would be helpful. Yo, yo, yo. Tell me if you've heard this one before. The President of the United States from the halls of the White House. They want to change the Civil Rights Act. Is that like the next check mark under Project 2025 is take down the Civil Rights Act? Yeah, it's yeah, everybody's doing good over here. It's madness over at the other place. What's the jarhead one? See, look at this shit. I'm on here reading the fucking news to y'all, right? I got motherfuckers calling. First of all, calling me jarhead. Okay, block. Pro Trump. The military was the most apolitical place I've ever been. Nobody really gave a shit. It doesn't matter who's in charge. There's so many people between you and them, like that are handing down orders and shit. It was really apolitical. You didn't really talk about politics. You know, you gotta understand we're in the middle of a war. You gotta think about when I was in, right? Long fucking time ago. Generally, when you hear me humming, that's when somebody just got their shit blocked. Oh man. Someday people will figure it out, I swear to God. You know what I'm saying? Like if you run into somebody that was in the military and in the first 5 minutes you're interrogating me and also you're gonna ask like, were you in combat or did you muerte somebody? Okay. I'm just gonna block you. I don't want to know someone. I don't want to know someone who in the first few minutes of meeting someone decides I'm gonna ask if they've committed murder. Just straight up. I just met someone and it's like, did you kill someone? The fuck is wrong with you people? Do you normally do that? Because I know you don't do that in public. uh, right? Like, yeah. The YouTube is heaven. Sorry, Lee. TikToks. You know, I mean, if you ever wondered why, here's what the downside of being popular. Lee, I'm going to tell you, okay? I never wanted any of this, okay? I had like 16,000 followers in 5 minutes on TikTok, okay? My lives had hundreds in like 5 minutes. I didn't ask for any of this, okay? Like we already seen the mountaintop. You know what I mean? We already seen it. Okay? Here's the problem. Oh, why are you in here bothering me? I just don't understand. There's also way more than that in here now. Like you, who's this person that I've never heard of? Somebody else comment. Just wait, Marshall. Thank you. I don't give a fuck who you are. We aren't required to be friends. I don't care if you work at the McDonald's around the corner from my house and are screaming free fries as long as I let you talk shit to me in my chat. That's not how that works. I literally don't give a fuck. I had a guy come in my comment section the other day and he was like your shoulder's fine. And I was just like how would you know that? Yeah, I was gonna say I regularly have well attended lives. Like from the time that person said that we were 18, we've now doubled. So, and the longer your live goes, the bigger it gets. Yep. But I had someone come in the other day and say, like, because the people that know me know, while I was on active duty, my battle buddy, my roommate, the person I lived with in the barracks, he died. And I got medically separated about 6 months later against my will, meaning like I didn't want to go home, but they gave me a bunch of money and kicked me out of the Marine Corps. So I don't know what you think happened. Like, I don't know what you think happened while I was on active duty, but I would call me the victim. I would be like, man, some bad stuff happened to this person, right? That would be the first thing I would know. If I knew anything about me, you'd be like, man, he didn't have a great time. You would be wrong. You would actually be wrong. I had a fantastic fucking time on active duty. I love the fucking Marine Corps. I love the Marine Corps infantry. I'm still awake at 4 a.m. for different reasons. But I'm still up butt crack of dawn, right? I'm still pretty athletic. I love the fucking Marine Corps. I clearly have esprit de corps, right? And ultimately, I didn't get fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't literally like get abandoned in a combat zone, or have all my buddies get shot up, or have to go on 5 straight deployments to Iraq. No, that was the guys I served with. And as I've said from moment one, I am no war hero, but I fucking know some. You better believe your red ass I do. And it's not like they're like near me, or that they even like me or care about me. That is not relevant at all. But you know what happens? You know what fucking happens every time one of them boys I served with comes across my page and they start listening to me talk, and then they hear about what happened to RJ? You know what happens? They develop a sense of empathy on the spot because they know RJ and they know me. And guess what? They weren't told. They weren't told what happened to fucking RJ. So imagine my surprise when every fucking Marine that comes along that was in 2-2 around the same time, that's like, oh, I recognize you. You just have a beard now. What happened to you? And I tell them. Do you know what happens? They cry. They weep. They go, oh my God, RJ Rady was fucking murdered. Yes. And given an other than honorable discharge posthumously. It's like they were talking shit about my boy behind his back. And me, my life mission is to get his other than honorable discharge overturned. Because one of the things about being a Marine is that you always go back for your own. Right? That's like part of the whole thing. That's what made being in a fucking Marine Corps a lot different than being in any other branch. It's kind of no matter what happens, you always go back for your boys. You always go back for your Marines. You always stick up for your guys, right? Hey, Hammy, thank you for your service. Period! With a T. And then a dot after that. Period. Okay? The reason for the ruling is they said that my battle buddy had ingested cocaine. When he was on a whole bunch of medications after he had his knee replaced, and I even had a phone conversation with him the day that he died. He was planning on going to a party with a bunch of other active duty and veterans. So if you ever wondered why it's like RJ got fucked and a whole bunch of other people did not, because there was a lot of active duty and veterans at this party. And I knew he was going to go, and we knew all those people. And I told him, don't take your meds today, because I think you'll have a problem going there with temptation, knowing that you just got out of surgery. He just had his knee replaced. He was bone to bone in his fucking knee after blowing his LCL, MCL, ACL on a hump, right? And for the record, I just want to point out, rest in peace, RJ Rady. But RJ did the baddest ass shit I've ever seen another Marine do in my life. So we were on a hump, right? And this was before leave, right before deployment, okay? And they gave us a choice, and I'm gonna fuck it up, and somebody's gonna correct me, and it'll make the story better. But our leadership came to us, and they were like, "You get to decide what we do today." And you were like, oh shit, so we're not getting our shit drug all over the fucking God's green earth? We get to choose how we die? Holy shit. And they said you could either do, and again, correct me when I'm wrong, it's like 28 miles in 3 hours, or 3 miles in 28 minutes, full gear, I think. It's called a McCarthy hump, I think. I think that's what it's called. Where they say either we're going like a super long distance in a reasonable amount of time, or we're going 3 miles, which is a PFT, in full gear. And so we, um, it was the whole battalion, I think, and we were running in formation with full gear. So we're spaced out a little wide, and when I say full gear, they didn't make us carry a javelin because I think they were worried about breaking it. But they made like the mortarmen carry mortar tubes, and they argued about it. For the record, they were like, "No, don't take the fucking mortar tubes. If they're not making, take the fucking jab. Don't take the mortar tubes. If you drop a mortar tube, blah 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 blah, you get it." Long story short, what I learned on that hump is, if you have to reset a position as a mortarman, that sucks in combat. Um, it also sucks when you're trying to run like a long distance and you have to carry a fucking mortar tube. That fucking blows. So we had this little comms guy decide he's going to take on a mortar tube. Except he's an idiot and he hasn't carried fucking mortar, and neither had I, for the record. I hadn't carried fucking mortar tubes either because I wasn't a mortarman, right? This little comms guy decides he's going to take a mortar tube and he's going to wear it like behind his head and hang his arms on it and run. Okay? What you don't know that we found out is that when you put a lot of pressure on the back of your head, right? And you got something heavy on your shoulders and you put a lot of pressure on the back of your head, it'll make you fucking pass out. So one of RJ Rady's last acts, one of the last things that boy did on active duty was act with foresight. Act with foresight. He saw the guy in front of us stumble carrying a fucking mortar tube behind his head and he was going to fall forward. And so I'm just going to paint a picture for you about what happens if RJ Rady doesn't do what he did, sacrifice himself for someone else. That comms guy goes down face first, and I'm not talking about falling forward. I'm talking about he tripped. He's running forward, and he's about to scrape his nose on the pavement. And RJ reached out and clicked his heels together, and he spun, landed on his back, let go of the mortar tube, and had a slight headache. So I'm telling you, because I was right there, if RJ Rady hadn't stuck his fucking leg out there and kicked that kid's legs out from underneath him, and he spun and flipped on his back and landed on his pack and had a little bit of a headache, the mortar tube that kid was carrying wound up under RJ's right foot. And when he stepped on it, he fucking rolled, and it took every ligament in his knee with it. Okay? So, again, it's not like we weren't on active duty in the fleet. We had finished a workup. We had already done CACs. We were getting ready to go on fucking pre-deployment leave. And RJ Rady went down during that hump. And for the record, kind of looked at as like a badass. Kind of, people were like, that was pretty badass. If he hadn't done that, that kid's, oh my God. The more I think about it, I'm like, I don't even know how much that mortar tube weighs, but that kid was like running into the earth with that big ass tube behind his head. Oh my God. Like I said, let me paint the picture. That kid hits the ground, nose first, full speed with like 80 pounds behind it. I don't know about you, but like grinds his face off, shears his face off. And instead, because of RJ quick thinking, and again, couldn't have picked the outcome. Could not have picked the outcome. Let's not make RJ into somebody he's not. But had he not just stuck his foot out and clipped that kid's legs together and him kind of spun as he fell, had that not happened, it cost more than one person right? Because the comms guy is like vital. You have to have like a really good comms guy. We had a really good comms guy. He was pretty sharp kid. Okay. So the night RJ died, he was gonna go to this party. I couldn't talk him out of it. I was in Indiana on convalescent leave. For the record, I was working with a trainer that is a career Colts head trainer now. So the guy that I was working with when I was on convalescent leave has been working with the Colts for a long ass time. So obviously I was doing something right. They let me stay home an extra month. That's the whole reason I wasn't at that party, going to that party too, right? But my last instruction to him was, "Hey, maybe don't take your meds today, so you can go drink tonight, have a good time." And he was like, "No, I'm just not going to drink." And I try to tell him, "I ain't talking about my son, lady. I'm not talking about my son. That's my best friend. I was right there next to him, except until the night that he died." Anyway, he went to a party having taken his meds that day, his pain meds and all those other medications that he was on. Got tempted into drinking and passed out early. Somebody said he went to bed at like before 10 o'clock. He passed out in the coat room, like in a pile of people's purses and coats and shit. Like just went to sleep. That's all good. Okay. And the next morning, when the host went to wake up for work, RJ's laying on the floor. And they like try to like wake him up and shit, and he was just really hard to wake up. So she took some loose cocaine and rubbed it in his gums, and it made his fucking heart explode, and he died. And they carried his body to their car, and they drove him onto the Marine Corps base, and they took a passed out Marine through the line, and the MP said, "Where's his ID? Wake his ass up," and he wouldn't wake up, so they turned him around at the gate. So what did the girls do? Shit, now we're gonna be late for work. So they made a right out of the gate and dropped his body off at the bridge. Turned the fuck around, went back, got in line, got up to that guy at the window, and said, "Hey, we know you don't remember us, but there's a body over there at that bridge. You might want to go get it. It's got a Marine uniform on." So, so for the record, I I would I would say that's not great. Not great. And then imagine getting sold, right? Having someone tell you he did the shit to himself. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. I didn't believe it when I was told it. I was like, nope. We had plans. He he got married. He met his soulmate. Like for real, for real. We we were gonna go back to Florida. We had stuff we were gonna do. He didn't. But I had to wear it for like a fucking decade. Talk about making it really hard to make friends. Imagine getting to know somebody, getting really close to them, being relieved, by the way. They're people. I don't know about you, but when you get to know someone and they were in the Marine Corps infantry during a time of war, and eventually you ask them, "Did you hurt anybody? Were you in combat?" And I'm like, "No, I got so fucking lucky. I was aboard the USS Bataan as part of the 26 MEU for 8 days. I probably have the least days of deployment of anyone you know, but more." Somebody said Second Force Recon 0317. Thank you for your service. Semper Fi, brother. David Tompkins. So, if you ever wondered why I get on here with a Marine Corps hat, right? Why I am vocal, why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm putting myself out there. That's why. Because eventually they're going to ask me what I want. What do you want, young Jedi? I want RJ Rady to have an honorable discharge. And I want the people that ended his life held accountable. There is no statute of limitations on violent crime. And given that it was an active duty service member, I don't believe that falls under like civilian law. I'm pretty sure that falls under the UCMJ. So anytime I realize I've got people watching, I'm gonna default to uh, advocating for a healthy lifestyle. So hey, you should get 8 hours of sleep a night. It's probably one of your best moves. You might want to take a nap. That's also really, really good for you. I nap frequently. You need to hydrate, eat right, and exercise. And know that one of the primary reasons that I advocate for a healthy lifestyle is surviving this is a priority. Right? We're in a war of attrition. Thanks, Albie. Burp. We're in a war of attrition. Every person matters. We can't have people falling the fuck out. For example, and again, I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying. I went to a veterans protest March 14th. That's when I bought this hat. It's probably the most pride I've ever had in my service ever. Right? Going to a veterans protest and being with other veterans as they express their concerns over this regime. And we marched around the State House here in Indianapolis. Couldn't have been a quarter of a mile. And there were people falling out of that march. Now, there was no stress involved. Okay? So no smoke, no gunfire, no blockade, no barrier. We weren't on the street, we were on the sidewalk, right? We just marched for a fucking quarter mile, shut it down. Okay? No one had weapons, only a couple people had flags, right? And you start to wonder why this regime's not worried about the people taking back their country. The people that showed up for the veterans protests couldn't even make it a quarter mile without tapping out. And I'm not saying that that's the general populace, but that's part of the fucking problem. Part of the fucking problem is being an athlete is only possible if you're rich. So people just give up. And they're not athletes the rest of their lives, knowing, I don't know about y'all. It takes some gas to handle business at home, to take care of a house. It takes some fucking energy to do that. You know what I mean? You'd only be making that work that that people want, by the way. People want for it. People want a house, white picket fence, little yard to mow, right? Yeah, guess what? You can't sit around and do nothing and mow. You can't. I worked for my brother owned a landscaping company. I worked for a landscaping company before I went on active duty. Guess what you can't do and not have a tinge of athleticism about you? That's right. Mow your little patch of grass, right? Now take it upon yourself to fix your car. Try not going to the gym and doing that shit. I'm telling you, you get worn out by the time you get the fourth tire off. You're gonna go help somebody move, right? Get them out of a abusive situation. Yeah, how many flights of stairs can you go up and down before you got to take a breather? Now, know that the people that you would consider your opposition know that they are not committed to a healthy lifestyle at all. So that they got the same problems we got. The difference is, who do you think's more likely to listen to me advocating for a healthy lifestyle, take that as Bible and be like, dude's made it this far, right? Been to multiple protests, not getting singled out. Part of that is eat right, exercise, hydrate, sleep, get 8 hours of sleep a day. Okay. Part of it is knowing that the enemy does not do this. That sleep is not required, and name them in the way that they operate. Okay. Thanks, Lee. So remember, if you're feeling froggy, there is a protest today. There's Canadian Solidarity protests everywhere. Your state capital, probably about noon. 5050.1 is the website you can go to. We are in the middle of a General Mills boycott. So for those of you playing along at home, hey, try not to eat any General Mills for a while. Okay. A week from tomorrow, or not a week from tomorrow, a week from yesterday, there is a big LGBTQIA plus, or as I like to lovingly refer to my gay friends as the LGBTQA, has a march in DC. I believe that's all 50 state capitals now. I could be wrong. And then obviously the Big Daddy, May 1st. Okay, May Day protests. Oh, that's right. See, I was telling the truth. That's why I'm back. I got restored. Keep in mind, if I had been lying about what I said, it has stuck. But yeah, remember there are Tesla takedown protests every Saturday. Okay. M. Hayasadi, you were talking about uh, DJT and Boys. That's what got you banned earlier. Noted. Yeah, you know how I know it's true, and also the most powerful thing you can say against Donald Trump? The reaction I've got from talking about that on like 3 different social media sites. Hi, yeah, I have said that on Facebook. I made a TikTok about it, and I've spoke on it regularly. Easily the most incensed I've ever seen people get. Hmm. Keep in mind, they don't see they don't seem to care about all the violence against ladies, right? Only when it touches a part of their brain that takes them back to their childhood, apparently. Because some of those people that Donald Trump has touched, they became famous. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And anytime you talk about DJT and the ladies, nobody cares. In fact, the more the better, I'd argue. The more salacious it sounds, the higher the victim count. It's like, pfft, not even believable. Now you're right, right, right. But the hottest I've ever seen men I know get is when I reposted a video on Facebook where this guy is reading off a name of the lists of victims and how old they were and how much DJT paid their families and shit into the millions each. And I just left I took the names off the video and their ages and how much money it was, and I put it in an Excel sheet, and then I took a picture of it and I posted that on Facebook. And I was like, just so you know, it's not just girls, it's boys too. And I've never seen grown ass men get so fucking mad in my life. I could have done the same thing with all 27 women, and I guarantee you it would have got laughed at. Ha 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 ha, yeah, right. Donald Trump didn't do all that. Deadass. Mm hmm. Mm hmm. Mm hmm. Very sus. So, yeah, we gotta be careful about talking about that shit. But, you know, once we say it, uh, just as many people as in here as before. Mm hmm. Men have a segment for. Yeah. So, one of the. Where can I find the Excel sheet? I'll have to go look and see if I actually saved it or if I just closed out of that. But I did have an Excel sheet with like probably like 13. Hmm. I'm pretty sure Habana Club is trying to emote US equals shit, and you'd be right. Not sure what the French fry box is for. Hmm. Lots of John and Jane Does. It's crazy to me. The guy's all about the show, but he simply doesn't care about the decline in tourism to the United States, how no one wants to be here anymore. Makes me wonder, who do you love, Don? Vlad. Or does he love no one and just owe money? And that's what happened. This is what happens when you love no one and you owe money. You know, do whatever you can, yield whatever power you can to propel yourself to the highest office in the land just to keep yourself out of jail. The lengths man will go to keep from having to face the consequences from taking accountability, right? One of the things that I try to do is when I'm wrong, know that I'm wrong and just out with it. I go straight to, I work a full time job just like everybody else, right? When I fuck up, I go straight to my boss and I'm like, yo, I fucked up first. Take accountability first, let it all hash itself out. I've been in the workforce since I came home like 15 years, and I've only ever done very well at a job, and part of that is I'm quick to take accountability. When I fuck up, I know I fucked up, and I take accountability immediately. Avoid all that bullshit trying to who done it, right? Oh, whose fucking mistake is this? Oh, no, it's mine. I did it. It's my bad. No, I just choose my friends wisely. But let's get somebody said it was Trump. You blame it on one of his kids. Yeah. You don't have to listen to it right now, but at some point today, listen to Eat the Rich. Okay. Have a fantastic rest of your day.